everybody. Welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, TheBee at LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. Our pollen is silver and our nectar is gold. Preserving our wealth is honey of old. And like ancient metals, we hold our own. And today we're going to be having Ian Everard join us from ARK Silver Gold Osmium. He is a precious metals dealer with a brick and mortar store out of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And welcome in everybody in the chat. So glad to see you all here. We got Alan Satoshi Greenspan. Good to see you. Coffee and Stocks, you as well. Jake's Custom Parts, Chew, and Cat73. Think differently from over down under. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Neil's Han Dynasty, Space Miner. Welcome in, everybody. Let me bring Ian up here. Ian, welcome in. How you doing? Okay, I got no volume. Either I am muted or you are.
How's that?
There you go. Yep, loud and clear. Looking good. How we doing?
Awesome.
Great. So, boy, oh boy, it's been kind of a whirlwind since last time we talked in the metals world.
Yeah.
Well, how you handling things down there?
Keep answering the phone and keep writing out the invoice and keep shipping out the metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you noticed an uptick in new people or anything more orders coming in? What's going on?
Yeah, lot more new clients. A lot of first-time buyers as well. Yeah, some people coming in pretty heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing, like, you know, I always wonder, is it someone that's kind of, their eyes are great big and oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm here to buy metal and never expected this, or are they like, boy, I've been watching this for a while and finally moving in, or do you get any answers like that?
Yeah, sometimes I'll ask. Quite often it's a relative or a co-worker has been talking to him about it from when it was $15.
Yeah.
And they've decided, yeah, I think I better do something about this. And a lot of people have been really working it out, doing the research. And they ask me questions, but I know the answers already. Yeah, a lot of people are doing a lot of due diligence from all fields as well. You know, we've got a guy from SoftBank who buys a lot. We've got bankers, electricians, you name it. A lot of tradespeople.
Banker, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's still a strange conversation when I go into my bank. My previous bank manager is retired, so he escapes the blame for losing people's purchasing power in the wealth management section. But yeah, it is. You know, I don't think any of us want to go to tell somebody I told you so.
Right.
But it was so easy, wasn't it? It wasn't hard just doing the math. And as we said earlier, you know, because there's 2 points of view. One, this is just another spike. It's going to crash back down. And was it Gareth Soloway? $50 silver's come in. Jeffrey Christian, silver can reach 50, but it can never stay there. It's going to drop back. I think they're both wrong. And I think you just look at the silver market. If you do the math, say a half of all the annual silver production, including recycling, can go to retail investors. And it can't, but let's be generous and say half of it can. When you multiply that by, I don't know what's the average price with premium now, $80, $82. It's only a few $1 billion. It's not 100 billion. It's a few tens of billions of dollars. Well, yeah, and people might say, yeah, you're fed up of hearing of David Bateman, but one guy has spent $2 billion on precious metals in under a year. One. So
yeah.
There's not enough. Now people say, yes, of course there's enough. It's just if the price moves up, there's always enough. if anybody wants to do the math, I mean, let's say $10 trillion wants to move into silver. What does that put the price of silver at?
Right.
It's thousands of dollars an ounce.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying silver's going to get there, because I think it will become, even if it does, it won't be an option to buy it retail. I think it's going to come pretty soon. The days of just buying at will be over.
Yeah.
My gut feeling is I'm going to get a visit from some government employee. They'll give me a nice Apple. Maybe if I ask nicely, they'll give me an Apple Mac, high-end, $3,000 laptop. It'll be preloaded with accounting software. And I'll be told, Ian, this is your new accounting system.
It's your new friend.
You enter everything in on this, and it will be linked live every time you turn it on, or when you even when it's off, it'll be linked live to some monitoring department. And that's how they'll monitor the secondary market. And it'll be on pain of, I don't know, some heinous penalty if you do a transaction outside of that system.
Right.
That way, that will be us dealers will become the silver collection agent for the government.
Right.
And they'll become a one-way valve. So silver will exit retail hands steadily as people see the rising price and they think, yeah, I'm cashing in, it's going to crash down, I'm cashing in. I've had a continuous conversation with one client, a friend, and it's like, they keep telling me I want to take my profits. And I say, okay, stop talking, listen. Where are you going to take your profits to? Yeah. Where'd you take them to?
Yep.
It's like, take them back into the dollar that you exited.
Right. But putting them back into a losing instrument, right.
Exactly. So taking your profits, well, one, if you declare it as a taxable event. So why have a taxable event if you don't need to transfer your metal back into digital fiat?
Yeah.
Because the gain is inherent in it, isn't it? In that lovely 5-ounce lump, it's just sits there.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the point of view to take your profits, if you think silver's going to go back to 60 or 50, or I don't think it is.
Yeah, so that is, I mean, you definitely are. There's two viewpoints, and I think for a lot of people in the metals community, dealers included, always warn, well, we had these two big spikes up before. We know exactly how long they stayed there, just for a few minutes, and then back down we came. And
one thing I use visually to try and inform people, I say pull up gold from 1970 in British pounds on the Bullion by Post website. I don't know, can you share that?
Yeah. Yep.
If you go pull up the bullionbypost.com and put it in pounds, British GBP, okay, and go all time for gold. So I say to people, look at the all time for gold. Now, I suggest gold because it's a little bit less volatile. So if you select the all time, and I say, well, look, is that not a hockey stick forming?
Wow. My goodness.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an exaggeration of what's happened in the dollar because the pound has gone down twice as fast, roughly.
Really?
Because we're now sort of $1.35 to a pound instead of nearly $3. So the pound has halved in that period against the dollar. But the dollar's not far behind.
Yeah. So, and I've heard several times that everything is connected to the dollar.
Yeah. So it's climbing a wall, isn't it, on that chart?
Yeah. Right.
So if you smooth out the 1980 and you smooth out the 2011 and you draw a line up that sweep, that is either something really dramatic happened that it doesn't carry on going up at this rate, or it goes vertical.
Right.
Literally, so the rate of increase is just increasing and increasing, isn't it, on that last section of the gold chart?
My goodness, yeah.
You see, it really says what's happening. This is bigger than anything that's ever happened.
Right.
I think.
No, yeah. Yeah, and we're getting there in the other commodities too, right?
Well, and now silver recently,
Yeah.
for the last 6 months has outperformed gold by about 40%. So I mean, pull up the same chart with silver and see what that looks like. I mean, it is a straight line, isn't it now?
Ooh.
There's no time. You can't even see if you get your cursor right to the top where the peak is. It's just a line.
Yep. 79. Yeah, we're right at 79.21. Wow.
And part of that, I mean, give all credit to Mike Maloney, the research he did for his book. 80 times more units of currency now than we had in that 1980 spike. 80 times more currency and 10 times the amount of people who have free access and the money to buy precious metals. When you start doing those multiples, 300, 400, 500 should be a walk in the park.
Right.
Now, it's hard to conceive because anybody who's got a few hundred ounces, it's a life-changing move. And if you've got 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 ounces, and that multiplies 5 times, 10 times.
Yep.
But going back, 80 times more unit of currency worldwide, and the whole world is on a fiat system.
That's the other big key. The whole world has to get back into some type of value that's going to be stable.
No, it can't.
Well, right, but I mean,
hold
the desire.
Hold that thought. You see,
Okay.
I remember talking to my dad about 3-4 years ago, and he said, well, perhaps we'll get away with it then because everybody's doing it. But if everybody dances on the edge of a cliff, isn't that cliff even more likely to collapse and fall into the sea or into the canyon?
Yeah.
Sure. And we're dancing on the edge of a very crumbly cliff, the whole world.
Yeah.
And the only people that have stepped back from that precipice are the people who've bought tangible assets.
Yep.
Gosh, is that the spot gone up again?
Let me get back there right quick. 79.15 at the moment.
That's just gone up $1
Yeah, in the last few hours. Yeah, and we got up to 84 there.
Yeah. So I don't think this is an anomaly. I don't think it's a bubble. Am I wrong? I could be. But worst case, if I'm wrong, I might have to wait 2 to 3 years and it will still be 100, 150, 200.
See, look at all these spikes in the metals here.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it kind of goes to show the, manipulation that's been in effect for a while.
Well,
this is kind of
that goes back to 1974, December 1974. A telegram was sent from London to New York stating that to open a gold ETF would cause volatility in the gold price, and that would deter the public from buying gold. And that was literally days before the January the 1st, 1975, when American citizens could legally buy gold. And again, I'm going to ridicule you Americans. You allowed your government to tell you couldn't own gold from 1934 to 1975. Are you wimps or what?
Well, it's brainwashing. I'm shocked to see it myself, the amount of...
Having said that, the same happened in Britain. My dad bought some gold sovereigns because our elderly next door neighbor was terrified she was going to get arrested because she had 10 gold sovereigns.
Wow.
She was terrified she was going to get arrested. And it's like, what? I don't know. It's hard to conceive, isn't it? What's the phrase? Let me correct me if I get it the wrong way around. Land of the free, home of the brave. We weren't very brave and we definitely weren't free.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're
just in these things we say that are actually contradiction to actually what exists, like right to free speech, Second Amendment.
Yes, and yes.
Article 1, Section 10, the state shall use nothing but gold and silver coin in tender of debts. All these statements, but the opposite is happening.
Yes.
We do not have free speech, us normal mortals. If we criticize a certain person, and I won't mention because it triggers some people, we can get into a lot of trouble now.
Yeah. Oh no, it's reverse world.
It is.
It's crazy where we're at right
It's
now.
a sticky, nasty swamp, isn't it?
Yeah, and without getting too deep into the weeds here, I just was thinking before we went live, when we changed the name from Department of Defense to Department of War,
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty in your face telling right there.
It's the end of an empire. I mean, 8 countries bombed. And I'm saying 8 because we dropped Qatar's defenses so Israel could bomb Qatar or Qatar, however you say it. I always pronounce it the wrong way.
Sure.
Qatar has the most extensive Patriot missile system. So that was turned off. So,
yeah.
Criticize me and trigger me. Who's that?
79.
I want to get on with everybody. I really do. I want everybody to prosper, and even the people that have been misled. I just hope. Life is too short, isn't it, to go around hating and hurting other people?
Yes, I've been kind of trying to point that out a little bit because we all have our faults. The forgiveness thing needs to be elevated a notch or two there, Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
And the only way, I don't know. I mean, I got a new client and he's writing a book and he's writing it in prose, a bit like Dr. Zeus. And it's incredible, the stuff he's coming up with. And every now and then he'll share a section of it. But basically, his premise is you're not going to mobilize the majority of the public and not going to change anything. They're just too far gone.
Yeah.
But if you get involved locally, 1% can take charge of a school board, can take charge of city
locally.
Everything is local. If 1% of people, we just want 1% of people who are benevolent and have the best interests for that area.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think definitely once one goes down the precious metals route, it does tend to change your thinking a lot of other things. I think a lot of other things fall into place.
It sure did with me.
The currency that we're told is money is an absolute blatant lie designed to steal. As Henry Ford said, if the public knew, there'd be a revolution instantly.
Yep.
And you start looking at other things. And it is just, but we're in that dilemma. I don't think there's a route for a nation to sound money without a collapse.
Right, without some pain.
And I've had this discussion with many people, and nobody's really said, yes, there is, and this is how we do it. Because you have to reveal the lie, the store of value, the money markets and the stocks and the shares and the NVIDIA circle of deceit. That all has to be exposed for what it is, that it's wealth that doesn't exist. It's theoretical digits that actually won't be able to be spent in the future.
The great taking and all the laws that have been changed and put in place to slip everything into certain people's hands and
banking for all. The Banking for All Act, the Fed now.
All this either has to be exposed or we're going to get swallowed up. So, yeah. And like you mentioned to me earlier, the clock's starting to tick on this now that we see silver and gold running like this.
Exactly. How much further can silver go before everybody is thinking about it? And if everybody's thinking about it, they're thinking, well, why can my $100 only buy one American Eagle now? I mean, we sell them for way less than that, but a lot of companies are selling them for around $100 now.
Crossed $100. Yep, 2025 Eagles crossed $100 on a certain website.
Yeah, so, we're still selling them for what, $80, $86, $85. So
you hear that, guys? Eagles at 86 from ARK S.G.O here. No, that's
no, we're $6 premium, so $6 premium on Eagles.
As opposed to 16 here.
16, yeah.
So let's talk a little about the product availability. What are you seeing there? Like we went, I seen everybody was, tons of product. Well, and we seen in the COVID time there where shelves almost got empty in some places. And how are we looking here today or yesterday?
I had a discussion with my friend who's very high up in one of the largest, well, probably the largest precious metals company in the world. And we did a back of an envelope calculation. How many millions of ounces per month is available in the US in retail product? And we both came to the same conclusion. My friend with over 40 years of experience, me with 6 years in the business and a few years before that learning what I could, we came to the conclusion it's only maybe 4 or 5 million ounces per month. So 4 or 5 million Americans buy 1 ounce, that's a month's supply.
Or a millionaire buys several ounces.
Yeah, or a billionaire buys half of it. Yeah. So it is vulnerable. It is being somewhat masked by people selling in secondary product, but that is thinning out now. That's getting, I mean, it's thinning out as available to me, but 2 of my wholesalers also own the largest retailers in the US. So there's a tension there. At what point do they feed it to their companies that they own and not to me?
For sure. Yeah.
You know, and I guess the advantage, the longer you're in business, you build up a bigger client base and more people contact you when they want to sell.
Yeah.
And that's probably where we will be shifting, will be, you know,
secondary.
Sourcing more secondary. Yeah. Actually seeking it out. I had a guy call me up. He wanted to sell 300 buffaloes, and he quoted me Atmex's spot. And I said, that's not real spot because they had 20 cents on. But it got me thinking. I thought, well, if he's looking at Atmex spot, he's probably looking at what the Atmex offer is to buy it back. Well, Atmex, you email them. So I thought, you know what, just for a laugh, I'll email them. They offered $10 back a spot for brand new buffalo rounds.
Whoa.
And you had to pay the shipping and insurance.
Wow.
And you had to wait to get paid. Like $10 back of spot.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think so.
Yeah. Wow. So I was watching, Peter Krauth was saying that the CME reporting says that there's going to be further record high deficits in the coming years than we're experiencing right now.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, to me, is not that surprising.
No.
But and then you get silver not wanting to export silver anymore unless you get some certain licensing, I hear going around. I hear Samsung purchased 2 years of supply for themselves through a Mexican mine directly.
Yeah.
I hear Arcady Economics talking about he's got a small silver mine that he has on his channel sometimes. Kuya silver.
Oh, yeah.
And they had some businesses from overseas approach them trying to secure silver, and he just doesn't even have the finished product and is a small mine, so he was a little surprised to get those calls.
Yeah.
But that's kind of showing, in my opinion, that the things are starting to break down, and you got those back channels starting to reach out and look for what they can get a hold of ahead of this crunch.
Yeah.
So
we've got a couple of questions up there. Space Miner's asking, what's a common heavy purchase? So typically we're getting multiple orders over $100,000, some from brand new clients, some from people coming back for another bite. One guy yesterday, what did he order originally? He ordered 100,000, then I got a text and he said up it to $250,000.
Whoa. Oh, wow.
And I think he's a very conservative billionaire, really nice guy. Now, if those sort of people are buying, just dropping $250,000 without, you know, like I would spend $20. It's like it's the word is out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, Bob Coleman, good friend of mine, he's been an incredible mentor and incredible help. He's shared knowledge, information, how to get good deals. He's helped me out with huge purchases to get a better rate than I could. and he's a competitor. He thinks there's a risk of a bubble and a pop, and then the retail will get upset and sell into it, and everything will collapse. But I just don't see how the mathematics works out. It would if there was, I don't know, 2, 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion ounces sitting somewhere. But you've seen those USSA office bars and rounds like that.
Yep. Jealous.
That was the US Strategic Reserve dumped in 1981.
Yeah, to help drive that price down. Yep.
Keep it moving downward and keep it down.
Yep. Yeah, and
and now we got the US government, the Department of Defense, because it's still called the Department of Defense, apart from the alcoholic Pete Hegseth thinks it's the Department of War, but maybe he should just have a few more beers and just go comatose somewhere. The Department of Defense, you've probably heard, has got a 40% stake with Korea Zinc building a smelter in Tennessee. Now, Korea Zinc, a specialist in non-ferrous smelting, i.e. zinc, silver, and all of the metals that come with when you're mining zinc. So why is the Department of Defense taking a 40% ownership in a smelter, the first new smelter in 50 years in the US? Because the Department of Defense is shit scared, excuse my French, of not having enough silver to build their fighter jets and their missiles. And the replacement for the Minuteman is going to need a lot of silver. That should be enough to know that if the Department of Defense is bidding up silver, we've got an underwriting, a backing of where silver is now. I think the floor is in.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. And all these things to me are, you see Samsung, like I say, securing, these other places looking to secure behind closed doors. This just makes me think that we're seeing the smart people getting a hold of it, while, we know the governments are always way late to the game, and then they're going to come in and just, when they wake up, nationalize things, right? I mean, isn't this kind of a...
Yeah, the only government that's not been late to the game is China.
Right. They've seen this for a minute.
China's got 8 of the largest 22 copper smelters in the world. So copper from all over the world, including the US, goes to China to be refined.
And now they're not wanting to export anymore without special...
Well, no. I mean, they'll probably still take the copper ore and refine it, but will they give the silver back? Probably not.
Right.
So, and 75% is a byproduct of silver, is a byproduct. Different figures between 70 and 80% of zinc, copper, and lead. This is probably why Korea Zinc has been brought into a partnership to build out. And I don't know if it's refurbishing an old smelting unit. I've never heard of one in Tennessee, so maybe there's an historic site there. But whatever, it's going to take years.
Yeah, right. Yes.
So it'll be too little, too late. And just the growth in solar panels. I just paid for 144 solar panels on Monday.
Nice.
It's my last chance, I thought, to get cheap solar panels from China.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm going to do with them. I haven't got a house to put them on yet. I've got to design the house to put the panels on. But I thought
I got solar maybe 5 years ago or so, because I thought I seen some of this coming, and sure enough, Colorado the other day sent out a notice a few days ahead, almost a week, saying this next coming week we're going to shut power off because of high winds.
Really?
Yes.
Just turn off the grid.
To be safe and effective, of course.
What?
And I had, that's why I got solars. I thought this might become a thing, and this is not, we've had plenty of windy events from childhood to now. This has never happened, and so
and the whole U.S. grid is creaking at the seams, isn't it?
Yes. So
Texas isn't even connected to the grid; it's got its own grid. That's why Texas is vulnerable if they get, like they had the ice storms a few years back.
Yep.
Out. Wow, they're going to just turn your power. Or at least they told you.
Well, but I mean, my goodness, like for me, I have a saltwater fish tank that has to keep those pumps running or everything dies. Like it does. It takes maybe 10, 15 minutes for the the gassing starts off-putting and everything dies. So, like, you know, that now it's not a big, it's just a fish tank, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this city that, you know, if you don't have power, wow. I mean, you don't expect your power company to send you a message and say, hey, for safety, we're going to shut the power down. It's like pre-crime, this whole pre-crime, pre-safety stuff's driving me nuts, though.
Yeah. And
anyway.
Think in a city how dependent you are on electricity, water, gas, food, gasoline.
Yep.
The counterparty risks are so huge, aren't they?
Yes. Yep, and our last minute market that we have. So we see the physical market possibly actually coming into effect, kind of, I think, is finally what we're starting to see. Is that a crazy statement, or do you think?
No, I think so. I mean, you look at that action up to 80. I mean, 82 really was the sort of high, you know, and down to 77 and back up to 79 again. It's not staying down, is it? It's almost like someone is saying 79 is the new floor, or 78.
Speaking of 79, there you go. Yeah,
we staircased up, haven't we? Right from
30
something. It just so. I think we're being toyed with. I think just with a few $100 million of buying, China can hold the price wherever they want.
Okay, and that was another point I wanted to bring up, was the Shanghai exchange. People have saying, you just watch, they let it rise and they slam it down. This is common. I'm like, no, Shanghai, guys, this is something new that we haven't, at least has the possibility of taking some of that power away from the price manipulation mechanism of what we've seen in the past.
And from what I understand, industrial users in China have sucked that exchange empty nearly.
Okay.
Because they're front running, buying up silver. And I predicted this years ago. I said, long before we reach the bottom of the barrel, the industrial users will panic and try and secure future silver physically, and that will be the end. That will be the end game. Literally, that will be when it's unobtainium.
And that's no longer just theoretical. Like I just mentioned a few of those.
Yeah, Samsung got a long-term relationship with Avino Mines to take their silver, and just a couple of weeks ago they took a stake in a unoperating Mexican silver mine to get that back into operation. So.
Yep, and I've heard of some other ones. I didn't get the exact names, and we know Elon Musk is watching it. He mentioned it. Said, "Oh no, this isn't good." Got a lot of.
It's not good. I think it's awesome for silver producing companies. I think.
Sure.
Do we want to keep them in, poverty forever?
Right.
Again, I think Mexico should shut all of their mines, pay off all of the foreign companies, give them double their current stock valuation, and they should announce we're not mining silver till it's $300 an ounce.
Right.
And then within a week it would be $300 an ounce. Literally.
That's probably true. Yeah.
And then they'd only have to sell 1/5 or 1/4 the amount of silver they are selling now and get more revenue.
Yeah.
And store the rest up.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's too obvious.
Leave it in the ground, even just leave it in the ground.
Right. Yep.
It's a bit harder to steal it, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Yep. Takes more time.
And I know, I don't know what most people think about the attack on Venezuela.
Right. I was just going to bring that up.
I don't think we're going to march into Mexico and take their silver. If we do, crazy is unleashed, isn't it? There's nothing off the table if we do that.
That's it. It's just hard to know with the laws we're breaking, just like it's nothing. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
It's a state of semi-lawlessness. And the problem is, if you've got lawlessness at the top, it filters down through the whole nation.
Yep. And let's see. So if you're a new stacker, new to the market, you're, I know, and so all different price levels coming in, but you're a new stacker. Let's say you're not rich, you know,
Yep.
you can do the full scale. You're a small scale investor, you're mid scale, high scale. What are some good ideas for new people in the market?
New people call me, and I'll find you something at spot.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah.
That if you can get it at spot or below spot, you're insulating yourself from some volatility. Now we're not allowed to give advice, but we do. So it's like I think we're close to you're not going to be able to buy it soon.
Yeah.
Everybody can criticize. Oh, you're a dealer. You talk your own buck. It's like this is what I see coming.
Yeah.
I think the government is going to take control of the means of production, and it's going to try and extract as much legally out of the hands of retail by making it easy to sell and hard to buy.
And we've been saying that from before this spike.
Oh, heck, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like
you see, the confiscation didn't work in 1933 with gold, and it didn't work really in 1934 with silver. You know, and it didn't work with going from 90% to zero on quarters and dimes in 64, and going from 40% in the half dollars to zero in 69, 70, because you look at the amount of 90% and 40% that is still available. So people didn't hand that in. They kept it. Gresham's law.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I don't see. Like, I struggle. I see a few people bringing in and cashing in, paying some bills with the prices. I can see all that. But to just move out of silver with the conditions we have now, why did you get in the first place? If you're seeing the conditions we have now.
Yeah. So, I mean, some people, I think I mentioned a few shows back, some people have used it as a vehicle to save from when it was $18, $20 because they knew they were going to buy a house.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was their timing. Now, looking back, it would have been better if they'd waited a little bit.
Sure.
But that was it was an unknown when it was going to pop. And I think a lot of people just gave up hope that we'd ever see $50.
Yeah.
And so many people, I mean, I don't do Twitter anymore. But I remember seeing on Twitter so many people say, that's it, I'm out, guys. You know, good luck, but I'm selling all my silver. And that was like $22, $23. They'd waited for like 3-4 years and nothing was happening. It was just going sideways. In fact, I've got a good friend in not far from you, actually, in Colorado. And he called me up and he said, I've got a loan. I'm paying 6% interest. I'm going to sell my silver at $22. Do you want to buy it and pay the loan off? And I said, please don't do that. I'll buy the silver off you. I'll give you a really good price, but please don't do that.
Yeah.
He took my advice, and I'm not allowed to give advice, but I do. And now
just good information.
Now his silver is like nearly 4x.
Wow. That's
so now he could sell a quarter of his silver, pay the loan off, and still have 3/4 of his silver.
3/4. Beautiful. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
It's patience, isn't it?
Yes. And knowing the market is just at least the bigger picture is all you need. A generalization of the big picture, because it really is life altering, like you're saying. And no one or lots of people didn't expect this big. We did, but a lot of people didn't expect this. Except And
it's been rubbish. I mean, a billionaire friend of mine, he buys a little bit of silver now and then, but he says to me, Ian, silver's been rubbish. He said, I bought it, and he gave me the dates and the time span. He said, on average, it's given me 4% return. Now, he's an incredibly wealthy property developer, you know, incredible wealth. But that was a time period. So that was, it has been absolutely rubbish. But now it's not.
Yep. Right.
And I guess if you've been scarred by that, you probably think, you know what, I'm not going to go near that again. I get it. I understand it.
Yeah.
And everybody says the most dangerous word you'll ever hear is it's different this time.
Right.
It is different this time.
It is. I agree. I agree. Yeah. So let's talk some of these off metals, maybe that people don't know much about. I know you've moved into rhenium pretty heavily, and
That's British understatement, extremely heavily. Yeah, we have bet the farm on it and some.
yeah. And so let's hear about, let's hear some of your convictions there.
Yeah, no, sure. It's a 50-ton production. And it's a byproduct of a byproduct from when you smelt and refine copper. You get molybdenum, some copper deposits, and some of that molybdenum has rhenium in it. 75 on the periodic table, and it's so rare. It was only isolated 100 years ago. It was the last element to be added to the periodic table because you never came across it because there's so little of it and it's in such low concentrations. Where it is found on its own in an ore, it's around 1 part per million. So you'd have to move 1 million kilos of rock to get 1 kilo of rhenium. It's absolutely key making these.
Blades, wind turbine blade type of thing.
Yep. Can't make a modern high efficient jet engine without it. We're hooked. It's found a use that it never should have because there's not enough of it for that use. That use alone takes 80%. Now, yes, there's recycling, but when you get a surge in airplane orders, which we have in the biggest order book ever for civilian and military aircraft, it's just huge. We're going to hit a wall where there is not enough, just literally not enough, but we haven't got an option. So what's going to happen to the price? It's going to go to the highest value uses. The highest value uses, well, the whole rhenium industry is only a few $100 million at the moment. The highest value uses is the 2-3 billion oil refinery, where you use it to clean up gasoline to boost the octane rating. And it will be military aircraft, 200, 300 million fighter jets. And then it will be the high-end 100, 200 million jumbo jets. And then it will be the 40, 50 million private jets.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
So it's an asymmetrical cost to the value of the product that you cannot make without it. And that's why the cure for high prices is not high prices. The ceiling, as far as I can see it, is a substitute for platinum in some applications, or with platinum in the $60,000 a kilo. Rhenium's got a ways to go to draw near to the price of platinum, and it'll be at a time when platinum is chasing gold, and gold is going up because it's undervalued compared to the dollar. So I still think rhenium is the most undervalued metal, even at we're approaching 5,000 a kilo now. Wow. But that's less than twice the price of silver. Yet it's 500 times rarer, and it has uses where there is no substitute, and all of the uses are high value uses. So, I really like the setup.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. And so, I've been talking with Space Miner a little bit. He follows some of these other rare metals that aren't talked about as much, and I just have a feeling that this long-term suppression that we've been, in my opinion, looking at to keep everybody's eyes off of the metals and onto the dollar and not even thinking about that has allowed for some of these other metals that have some of these use cases to keep those businesses with that secret in their pocket without anybody else finding out, able to keep it low, maintain it just enough for them. And then now, once all the visuals are going to be brought onto the metals and they look under that rock, my goodness, what's going to happen to some of these
and going back to the more basic metals, I mean, copper is frequently called Dr. Copper because it predicts what's coming in the economy. Now, so why is copper just keep on going up? I think we're nearly $6 a pound now.
Yeah, boy, that's taken off, isn't it?
But it's incredibly cheap, you think. All of that effort, you still, and some of it's moved to China, refined, then comes back. There's a lot of shipping and moving, let alone the digging and the, all of that. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a trebling of copper from here.
Wow, really? Wow, okay. Ooh, which I know you have great hookups on copper, nickel, rhenium, osmium, like lots of metals that a lot of people don't know about. You have access to, knowledge on.
we're concentrating on Rhenium. We want to conquer that market. We're going to form a Rhenium leasing company. So when the price is a lot higher than it is now, we're going to form a cooperative, a collaboration to keep ownership of our metal, but lease it and get an income.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But sort of going back to copper, you see people saying this silver thing is a spike, it's a bubble. Well, copper, I think it was 2006, somewhere around there. It went up 3x in 9 months, never came back down. So if you think, what has silver done? You know, what's from 26, which was bouncing around, wasn't it? Right from 2020, 27, 26, and it dropped down, and it was just going sideways.
4, yeah. Yep.
It's not unusual. In fact, copper did it, lead did it. Suddenly, it's 3 times more expensive, and that's your new floor. Now copper is moving up from that, and the copper production has increased dramatically. You would have thought that the recycling loop, because copper is pretty easy to recycle. There's a lot of people, scrap dealers, and people don't tend to throw copper away.
Yeah.
And it tends to be used in its pure form. So it's easier to recycle copper wire, copper pipes.
Okay, yeah.
So it tends to be, I mean, I guess circuit boards, you're putting it onto fiberglass, plastic, and, you know, but generally it's recyclable.
Copper pipe, copper wire.
It hasn't reached an equilibrium yet. And what if, okay, there's no more silver to buy because it has to go to industry. Then there's no more rhenium to buy because the government decides it has to go to the military and the aviation industry. Well, what do we look at next? Copper, nickel, lead? Well, brass and lead for sure. But
yeah, right, yeah.
But seriously, you see, in an over-financialized world, all of these commodities are drastically undervalued.
Yes, yep.
To a poverty level that the countries that produce it are making nothing, no gain for their country, nothing. It's literally been turned out for a fraction more than all of the cost of the labor and not even counting the destruction of the mountains and the plains that they dig up, not even counting that cost. So I think every physical commodity, metal particularly, is undervalued. So you take your pick. If you think silver is, you know, I think copper is pretty sound bet at the moment. Get yourself a few £100 of copper.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Space Miner saying here, a lot of these have been suppressed into closure, these mines, and silver being a byproduct, rhenium's a byproduct, all these byproducts, and a lot of silver mines got shut down because it just wasn't a value there, and now you're getting this crunch.
Or a lot of the silver mines high graded. So they mine through the richest deposits, which is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take an average. So throughout the life of the mine, you're getting a consistent yield compared to your effort and energy inputs. But yeah, a lot high graded.
And it's supposed to be known, I'm told, it's an epithermal, meaning there's more silver close to the top of the ground than
pretty well all silver is, pretty well all silver is surface or near surface.
So that would indicate a lot of the big easy stuff has already been gotten to, obviously.
It is. When you look at, I mean, Mexico's the largest producer, but their reserves, I think, are less than half of what Peru has in reserves. So Mexico's getting close to being mined out. That's why, you know, Maria Schaumbaum, stop exporting your silver. Keep it. Wait till it's $300. You'll only have to wait a week. Seriously. I mean, can you imagine if Mexico declares, you know what? We're not exporting silver until it
scares me. It scares me hearing you even bring it up.
Wouldn't the U.S. oil industry, wouldn't the U.S. government, if they could say, okay, we're not exporting oil till it's $200 a barrel, they would do that, wouldn't they? In a heartbeat. They wouldn't even flinch. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll stop selling for a week. But they can't because the U.S. is actually a fairly small part of the oil business now. Plus, Asia is weaning itself off oil. China is about peaked out on oil consumption. It's plateauing out. It's going solar. It's going electric.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of talk about whether silver or oil had something to do with the takeover that we just seen there,
Definitely oil. Our refineries are desperate for that heavy, thick crude, because
that's what I hear.
You get all the variety of chemicals, and you get your diesel, and you get all of the precursors and the chemicals from the oil for making plastics. That's the most profit from refining the sticky, nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we sell our Texas Light Sweet, gets exported. And nobody wants to spend $5-10 billion building out new refineries or converting existing refineries to process the light sweet, because I think you can get most of the things out of it, but it's a whole different process.
Right.
So definitely, yeah. That's
so I don't really have time to bring it up, but industry with market caps, we had gold and silver for a second, both of them on top. Looks like Nvidia just the last day here with the silver drop stepped back into second place, silver being at third, but we're getting right there where gold and silver are
silver as an asset. Yeah.
Total market cap, or whatever you would say, total industry wide money value have taken the top of the chart there. Let's talk a little right quick about premiums. Why, with product availability being so sporadic, why premiums can be so greatly different amongst some different dealers, and why you should shop around, etc.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, premiums historically, I remember, please don't get tired of me telling this, but it was a milestone when we bought our first order when we started the business. We bought 1,000 silver maples, and it was $25 spot, and it was $5 premium wholesale. So that's a 20% premium.
Ooh.
Wholesale. So 20% premium now at 80 would be $16 wholesale plus markup. So relatively, the premium on a maple would be $20 now as a percentage of the total price.
Yeah.
But it's not. So, but I think a lot of the big companies, they run a model. They want a percentage profit on their turnover.
Sure.
Which is understandable, especially if you're not growing rapidly or you haven't got room to grow because you've taken your market share. Then I guess that's the model they revert to. We keep ours low because I'm fanatical about silver, but it's money, it's God's money. So I do my absolute best to keep the premiums down. And, if I want to get rich, I just got to build volume.
Yeah. Yeah. And so some people, I think a lot of businesses run a lot differently than the next business. So some people buy way back a spot. Some people are right close to spot or melt, and you got to shop around a little bit to see where works best for you. Find a dealer, make a relationship with him, because it's going to make a difference when we get this crazy volatility and it becomes unobtainium, and where you are on the list of I'll be able to hook you up might have something to do with how good of a relationship and how well you've been treated in the past. So
there's no might in that. It's an absolute, because these big companies are making so much now, I think, on charging excess margins. They won't care if they just sack everybody and retire.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a company, I won't name it, but I will, begins with A, ends in X. Fill in the gaps. They're offering $10 back a spot for brand new Buffalo rounds, and you have to pay the shipping and insurance to get them to them.
Wow.
$10 back a spot.
That's for the premiums over that is interesting.
I think what I'm going to do, because it's been so volatile and products been hard to source, we took all the premiums off our site. I think what I'm going to do going forward, I'm going to have two sections: wholesale price, retail price.
There you go.
Just publish it.
Right.
And if somebody thinks, heck, that looks good, get out there, start a business. Just do it. It's it's not easy.
Yeah, and that's what form a relationship with the dealer and understand that, you know, it's hard with the premiums that we're working at, depending on who you are and how long you've been, you know, this is not a get rich quick market on, you know, turnover sales like this. I mean, this is your, you know, dealers are going out of business because people are just look at this industry differently than they look at other industries when it comes to premiums on product, which is interesting.
Talking to the Goldback company, and I was just talking about the industry in general. I think he said something like over a third, nearly a half of all the dealers they used to sell to have gone bust or given up.
Wow. Yeah. See, there you go. And that's not, you're not going to like that in the environment we're going into. So Jakes is asking here, Ian, do you have any comments about the OTC market and miners selling around the COMEX?
It's a murky world, isn't it? And I think a lot of silver miners have been double screwed because a lot of them, for their financing, if they've got loans from banks, lines of credit, the bank insists that they sell forward. So they lock in their price for long periods of time sometimes. So there's probably some silver mines now still selling their silver to the bank at $28.
Wow.
If they took it out April the 6th when silver was $28.56.
Ouch.
And the bank is making out like a banker. And the mine is doing okay, but they're treading water.
Wow.
Whilst they're throwing away $50.
Ouch.
Clear profit. So
that's gotta hurt.
It's a murky world, and you can understand it, can't you? You can understand you've had lots of bad years, and you're hanging on the edge, and you're relying on selling new shares and telling the right story to get public sentiment on your side and buy your stock, and you got big. You know, I'm sure the banks have been manipulating the miners. I'm sure they've been. You know, my theory is for a while when they shorted silver and drove silver down, so they drove silver down 10% and they knew where it was going to bottom out, that could drive down a silver mine of 20 or 30%, and they knew when it was going to bottom out. So then they could buy the mine shares cheap, let it rise up and rinse and repeat. So they could have been doing this with shorting physical silver and shorting the miners. They could have been manipulating it, and that could explain why the miners were so far behind for so long.
Sure.
Now, from what I've heard, they seem to be moving. I don't follow it because that's just not my thing. I'm just physical metal.
Yeah.
That's the lane I run in.
Yeah.
But when that comes to an end, that's releasing that suppression. But again, governments around the world are going to seize the means of production.
I'm shocked that we're not there. I think that's coming soon. I mean, my goodness. Just my opinion. Well, when you got these companies looking.
But there's weird stuff throughout history. I mean, I think this is correct. I watched an article maybe 3 years ago that there was a shut down silver mine that was still viable, and the US government decided to fill it up with liquid low-grade nuclear waste. They used it as a nuclear dump.
Wow. So
that mine is never going to get used again. It's like, well, who makes these decisions? It's like, it goes back to that presumption that there's always going to be plenty of silver. I remember having talked with a friend of mine. He's an incredibly wealthy guy. And I was telling him to buy silver when it was $18. I was visiting his house. Somebody else who I knew just happened to be there at the same time. And they were telling him, literally, they said God had told them to buy silver, like when it was $18. And she was telling my friend this. I was telling my friend this. And his reply was, well, man is so clever, we'll always work it out. We'll find it, or we won't need it. We'll find a solution, you know, we'll work it out. And it's like, yeah, we'll work it out when silver is $300-400. I think that's when it'll work out. The lower value uses will drop off.
Yeah.
No silver will go to retail investors. It will only be people in the know, you know, and then there'll be a semi-underground market of retail to retail, and all of the dealers will be under 24-hour surveillance.
Yeah.
If you want to carry on being a precious metal dealer. So.
Yeah, I really do think now is the time to access this stuff, to get yourself positioned, because from several different angles, you've got the computer overlord, the digital currency coming into play as a lockout. You got so many different angles of lockout possibly coming, let alone the industry going directly to mines, let alone nationalizing, let alone all these different angles coming at it. Now's the time, guys.
And even if you start $6 for a dime or whatever, $5.60, whatever a dime works out at spot, get a few dimes.
Yep.
I think most people could do that. It's like,
yeah. Yep.
And again, it's a tragedy at the very time people are going to need a local coin shop. They're dying out.
That's it. Just quit being so stingy on your dealer, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, awesome, Ian. Let's wrap up with some good deals you have, and what do you got?
Sure. Got some of these at spot.
Oh, those are those big 5-ounce American.
Cool. Yeah. Got a nice Scottsdale Reserve at spot.
Spot.
Oh, we got some Eagles, a couple of bucks. So these came in. They're not perfect, but they're close.
Nice. Eagles at what you said, like 6 over or something?
$2 over for a few of those.
$2 over for those specific ones. Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, some buffaloes, some chunky buffaloes. Spot. Anybody needs some silver at spot?
Wow, guys. Spot deals.
Something. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to throw his info up at the bottom of the screen here. Ian Everard of ARK S.G.O is at 307-264-9441. Email Ian at arksgo.com. Give him a call, email him, wherever you're at. If you're brand new to the market, if you're, have a lot of money, a little bit of money, looking for different types of metals, he's going to be able to help you in any which way you're leaning. So give him a call. Ian, I greatly appreciate you coming on, and we'll do this again soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Long live.
All right. And everybody out there in chat, thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to be coming on with a live stream directly following this. We've got Nick from California, and we're going to be doing an Osmium unboxing. So stick around here in a few minutes. We'll be doing another live. And until next time, we will catch you all on the next one. Thanks, everybody.